Hello everyone, it's Melissa. Welcome back. Today I am sharing another project, and this one is a 12 by 12 layout documenting my daughter's 14th birthday. And per usual, I am going to pull from my product jar, and you can see there that I have pulled flare, ribbon, washi tape, I have clips, doilies, frames, ephemera, and ribbon. I might have already said that, but so I'm going to start by pulling this, one of my favorites, confetti paper pack from Maggie Holmes, and it's a fun birthday themed paper pad, which I believe I got a while back from Tuesday Morning. I've used it on several layouts since then. I probably got a year or so ago. So I know that I want to frame this photo out, and so I decided to make my own little Instax faux size frame, and I'm just doing that with my Lawn Fawn stitched rectangle dies, and I'm going to see the size that fits and frame it around that photo, and I will glue it down later. Right now I'm showing you that I have pulled a really old collection pack called Vanilla Sunshine from a company called SEI, which if you've been scrapbooking as long as me, you know what that is called. You know that's an oldie but goodie. And the backside had some glitter kind of treatment on it, but I liked this wave kind of stripe. And so I am going to cut down this frame that I have made with my dies. And essentially what you're going to see me do next is a little bit of mixed media. And I pull some white gesso from my stash and going to start adding that with some Distress Oxide Tim Holtz ink and also some old Glimmer Mist, a turquoise color. And so I will get started doing that here briefly. So my daughter, a story about this photo. She turned 14 this year, and so she got a phone finally, and she cried real tears. So she was surprised. She didn't think it was going to happen, and I was so happy to, make her day basically. And so here I go. So I'm going to use just an old gift card and spread, excuse me, the gesso, and then I'll go ahead and put the remainder back into the jar. Doesn't take much. This is just a white piece of Michael's white cardstock 8.5 by 11 from my stash, and yeah, I have that Project Life cut apart. That is just from the paper pad, and it just has 3 candles on it. So you see me here, I'm using the Tattered Rose Tim Holtz Distress ink just with the packaging technique and water, and yeah, just spreading around messily. I always have a napkin or a paper towel handy to dab up any extra that, or some of it that gets places that I don't want it. And so yeah, and the next color that I will use is Worn Lipstick, and that as well is a oxide ink. I'll do the same technique, spread it around, and yeah, just try to get it the way I want it to look. Now the turquoise you won't see me do because it was basically the same thing, only I didn't use the ink pad, I used the mist. Same thing with the packaging technique, and I also went in and did some splatters with that ink as well. Something to keep in mind if you're mixing colors that aren't complementary, to let the ink dry first in between so you don't get a muddy brown when the two mix. So yeah, always want to be mindful of that when you're using colors that could potentially turn your project, into a muddy mess. So I let that dry, and here you can see it's all dry. I used my Stampin' Up! Notebook punch on the top of that, and really I'm going to align this layout, and I have no rhyme or reason why I did that. I just decided to do it. So I'm using a Perfect Word acrylic piece from Ellie Studio. I bought that, I don't know, in like a grab bag at one point at some time. I don't know if it's still available, to be honest. I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and start adhering down my faux Instax frame. And originally I was going to stamp on that frame, but you'll see coming up here that I end up stamping on vellum, one of my favorite techniques, and cutting it out, fussy cutting it out and putting it on the photograph. I wasn't exactly sure what stamping elements I wanted to add on this page, but in the end I only used 2 and I am pleased with both choices. So here are some Bambi stickers I got on clearance at Hobby Lobby. I'm using this circle that says "This is big," and I just put the sticker you can see there on a white piece of cardstock just to make it more manageable for me. I could have taken the stick off of the sticker itself so I can move it around, because ideally I don't know where I want to put it yet. So I will use my circle punch and punch that out, and then I really will be able to move it around. So here you see I've got some polka dot washi tape, and that is from Altenew. I bought it maybe last summer, and they've got several other styles to choose from, but this is one of the first ones they came out with, and I loved it. And so I wanted to pick it up at the time. And so I am going to end up adding that onto the background. It's just another element of dimension and for texture, because one of the things you might not notice when I showed you the paper is that black is a prominent accent in this collection, this paper pad collection. And so I do pull in a couple pieces of black, and in fact you can see a dark charcoal gray that is on the bottom of that candle Project Life card cut apart, and so I'm just kind of gonna roll with that color scheme. Now this is not going to stick, so to keep that in mind. I know a lot of other YouTubers, scrapbook YouTubers, talk about how when you use gesso, stickers don't stick. You need to have an alternative glue, very strong adhesive, and so I will in fact pull my multi-matte medium and just use my fingers and smear it around the tops and the underside, and just make sure everything's tacked down well, because I don't want anything peeling off later. And the same will be true for when I start adhering journaling and other pieces of ephemera. I'm definitely going to use my strong glue, which is my Tombow Mono Liquid Adhesive. And so you see I pulled an arrow clip from my stash, and that's essentially going to point to "This is big," that sticker bit of ephemera. I've also cut apart some from, I think it's from a Maggie Holmes or a Crate Paper like birthday collection, and they're just little bits of ephemera that, you know, have been hanging out in my stash for a little bit. You can see I've used some hot pink embroidery floss, and I went and adhered that onto the clip onto the Instax frame. You can see there I fussy cut after I stamped with white embossing powder on vellum the word "smile," and I am showing you here that I used some stickles on the top of those candles, and I also stamped "Oh Happy Day," and both of those stamped images, well, here I'm using Bermuda Bay Stampin' Up! Ink. Both of those images came from a Studio Calico Hero Arts. I think it was made for 2 peas in a bucket, you guys, really old stamp set. In that "Oh Happy Day," I just stamped on white and cut it apart. I also cut the number 14 from my MFT bottle cap numbers, and aside from adding the stickles onto those candles, I added glossy accents onto the 14 on that card, because I'm not sure if you can read it from where I'm looking, but it says birthday number. So it was a perfect spot to add the 14. I also have some of those Amy Tangerine, those wood bits from my stash. You can see it says Keeper. It's in pink and yellow on the top of that layout. That birthday underneath Perfect, that is just some K & Company stickers that I'm trying to work my way through. I use them on just about every birthday layout I make. I don't have too many left. I pulled some ribbon from my stash. That is just a satin ribbon from Stampin' Up! And I'm going to, I tied it in a knot on one end, and I'm just going to adhere it to the bottom of that cut apart, and that'll be my ribbon element. I also have, you can see there on the page, a doily pulled. I have some white crochet twine put through the top of that Keeper circle embellishment, wood veneer type thing. And yeah, I'm going to hide the word keeper and just use mostly that piece of wood for the colors to bring the pink and the yellow on the top there. I like that. Yeah, so she got a phone, so she was floored. And yeah, it was just so funny. And so we actually have that on video, her opening it and being surprised. So that's fun. So I just wanted to capture her on this day. This was right before she opened her gifts. As you can see, they're all there in front of her. And I like looking through the years and seeing how she's grown. So I'm just going to use half of that doily. I'm going to start adhering my layers together. In fact, because I keep moving around, it's driving me insane. I actually ended up gluing because my paper warped a little bit, the white 8.5 by 11, so I ended up hot gluing that onto my background piece of patterned paper, which, does two things. It, really sticks it down there well, and I don't have to worry about it shifting or coming up at all. So sometimes when I use gesso and things, or if any paper is warped, it's difficult to glue it down. So hot glue is always usually the way I go. You can see there I used my Xyron sticker maker and ran through the stamped image smile, and I'm going to adhere that onto the photo. And yeah, this is coming together pretty quickly here towards the end. I've got the doily glued down. I just adhered that Project Life cut apart. And really the other elements that I'm going to add on the top there are just for color. Significantly more to bring in more of the colors from the back pattern paper and the candles. And so I'm really liking how this is looking. I am just making sure everything's glued down properly, and I'm just going to kind of make this the wonky way that I like it. You guys know I just make everything all, I don't know. Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, you can see I have 0 nails, which is frustrating me because these little bits of paper, I'm having to grab my tweezers to move every little single solitary thing, and it's just bugging the heck out of me. But you can see there I left the tail of that circle tag embellishment a little longer because you'll see coming up here that I'm going to twist it around and bring it down the center of those two images. I'm adding some dimension to the back there, so that photo, in fact, the left side is equal to the right side because I added the wood piece behind there. Just adding my acrylic block to help weight that down while the glue dries. And yeah, you can see here that I'm twirling it around, trying to make it pleasing to my eye, basically. I could twirl it all day. Who are we kidding? So I went ahead and added that circle embellishment that says, "This is big." I'm going to add those other pieces, like I mentioned before, just for some added color to the top. And I'll, in fact, bring some of that turquoise, a little bit different color, but I'll bring some of that turquoise down to the bottom. Towards the end here, you'll see coming up. I have that striped piece of pattern paper that I'm going to add to the top. And I just cut it in a banner shape, kind of toying with where to put that other half of the doily, which it doesn't make it onto the layout, and I'm fine with. I have Oh Happy Day here that I glued down, and yeah, right now I am just using Glossy Accents, which is a very strong adhesive, to glue down the acrylic word that says perfect. I'm going to take the sticky off of the birthday sticker. I cut away the happy front half of that, and right now then I'm looking at some freckled fawn. These are some embellishments that I have no idea when I got them, but the one that I chose is 100% awesome, and I mostly did it because it's yellow and I wanted to bring another element of yellow into the page. And so I'm using my long reach stapler and stapling the tag little twirly bit twine, crochet twine that I tied to the top of that, and just kind of messy. I've added my journaling, and then I'm going to add some enamel dots, and those are old October afternoon enamel dots. And yeah, that's going to wrap it up, you guys. I am going to show you some close-ups here, and if you like this video, I would love a thumbs up. I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. I will have a link above here and in the description box below to my Facebook and my Instagram, and also would love for you to check out some of my other videos. And I will be back with more. I appreciate you watching, and I hope you have a really great week. Thanks, guys.